Your Mars is one of the most important aspects to take into account in your natal birth chart when it comes to finding your ideal career path, because your Mars is how you're going to take action and move through your career. So in this video, I'm going to give you a complete breakdown into how to use your Mars sign in your career and utilize it to your benefit to find the most fulfilling, purposeful career path. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabelle, your spiritual rebel friend, and today we are talking about Mars for career, because your Mars is probably one of the top two most important aspects in your chart for career, alongside the midheaven. But whereas the midheaven is how you act or appear in your career, your Mars is going to be what kind of work you need to do, which, given that all of our career paths require taking action, your Mars is probably the most important factor in finding a career that feels fulfilling to you. In this video specifically, I'm going to cover a brief overview and recap into what Mars is, what it means to have your Mars in each sign in your career so that you can understand how to start utilizing your Mars to your benefit, what it means to have your Mars in each house and how to utilize this into your career, and how to practically apply this knowledge. So if you are someone who wants to start shifting your career path, if you are someone who researches astrology but wants to know what to do with it once they've gained the information, watch through to the end of this video where I'm going to share my top tips that I've personally used to start applying this knowledge. And before we get any further, be sure to book a reading in the link in the description below where we can dive deeper into your astrological birth chart, as well as how transits affect you, how this applies to your career, relationships, self-development, and so much more. If you want to use your birth chart to your benefit, if you want to go deeper into your birth chart, book a reading down below, because these readings are meant for you. Sky is the limit, as I always say. Learn more down below and comment below if you have any questions. If you're more of a self-learner, check out my other offerings down below, including my Mars for Career cheat sheets that I've specifically made in combination with this video to help you understand how to start utilizing your Mars to your benefit in your career and remember what you need to know about your Mars for your career. So check out those cheat sheets down below. So first and foremost, what is Mars? I want to recap really quick what Mars energy really is about and why it plays such a pivotal role in your career path. Mars is, simply put, the planet of action. It shows us how we like to move through life. And for men, it's exceptionally important throughout their entire being, but for career astrology, Mars is highly important because it shows us how we move through the world. It shows us how we want to take action. It shows us also what our greatest talents are. What is it we're going to naturally be good at in physicality, which doesn't always mean are our biceps going to be stronger or are we going to be more of endurance athletes? It simply means how do we move through life? How do we physically move? And what kind of physical talents do we have? Such as maybe some people are better at social networking, which is a physical movement, a physical embodiment. Maybe some people are better at learning in solitude or moving in solitude or building. Maybe some people are naturally more physically gifted and physically capable. Maybe some people are naturally more good at portraying physical empathy. And this all comes back to your Mars. So Mars is the planet of action. It is our masculine energy. And masculine energy is also a provider energy, which in our careers, we are always providing something. We are providing advice. We are providing a service. We are providing empathy. We are providing passion. When we are in a state of providing, our Mars gets activated. So your Mars, in summary, tells you what your physical talents are, how you like to move in your day-to-day life, how you take action, and how you provide, which all play essential roles in finding a career path that is both financially rewarding and emotionally fulfilling. As a Mars in Cancer, I could never do a job where I was required to just do slow, menial tasks, which is ironic considering I do a lot of tasks, but I need to do hyperactive tasks. And I especially need to talk on a day-to-day basis, which I also do as a YouTuber. So my Mars has played a massive role in finding career fulfillment. And there's also many different ways it has played out in the past. I was also equally fulfilled as a job as a barista, but I was also extremely dissatisfied with the idea of I almost got a job as a cleaner, and that was going to be super exhausting, and I hated the idea of it. And I've also been a social media manager, and that 2 was partly playing to my Mars strengths, but it didn't take into account the whole story. So your Mars tells you how you need to take action. So understanding the sign your Mars is in will tell you how you need to take action and what you can provide. It'll tell you your strengths and talents. So how exactly do you apply this? If you haven't already pulled your birth chart, pull your birth chart and look for the sign that your Mars is in. I'm going to break this video into 4 segments based off of element, because within each element, there is different themes that'll come up for that Mars placement in element. So if your Mars is in a fire sign, in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, these people do their best work when they are pursuing personal desire and passion. They have a natural physical capability oftentimes, and they need very high stimulating, thrill-seeking specifically jobs. Because this is fire, this is passion, this is energy, physical vitality that we're talking about, these people often tend to do good in physically moving careers where they're having to respond to their environment very much in high stress ways in many ways. A fire Mars is probably going to do the best out of all the Mars elements with a high stress job. But this applies differently based off of your specific Mars placement. For example, if you are a Mars in Aries, you're going to want to work independently. Whereas a Mars in Leo actually probably does better working on a team, but a leader as a team. And a Mars in Sagittarius wants to be working part of a big corporation or big group, but pursuing individual passion and vision. While all Mars in fire signs are fulfilled by intensity and passion, this goes about being expressed in subtly different ways you can see based off of the sign specifically it's in. A Mars in Aries, for example, is going to need to feel at their root unrestricted and independent in their job. Being in the first sign of the Zodiac, the ram that charges things head on, the Mars in Aries needs a career path that allows them to charge things on head on without being restricted. These people very much dislike teamwork and they very much dislike protocol. Whereas a Mars in Leo, while they are driven by passion, they really specifically need to feel that their work is fun. Leo is a playful zodiac sign, and yes, they are full of courage. So they need to feel like their job allows them and enables them and almost requires them to be playful, fun-loving, and courageous. These people very much dislike working in solitude or working in very serious environments. And a Mars in Sagittarius has a visionary orientation to their actions. They want to be able to work on projects, work towards something greater. And so they do good when they have enthusiasm behind their actions and feel like they're fulfilling a big vision. These people really get bogged down if their career feels like they have to focus on menial tasks or small details. Check out my cheat sheets down below if you want more detail on your Mars fire sign placement. If your Mars is in a earth sign such as Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, you do your best work in your career when you have structure, stability, and material reward. This could mean by material reward, this could either mean receiving a material reward for your work personally or reaching for a material reward for who you work for. You need to have a material outcome in the work that you do. However, how this expresses itself is slightly different based off of the earth sign that your Mars is in. If you're a Mars in Taurus, in the end, these people have the best action or the best career paths for them in general are going to be ones that allow for a lot of comfort and stability. They need to feel like their persistence is valued. They do not like high stimulus environments. They do not like having to adapt a lot. They want to feel like they can get on a train track and continue to put moderated effort in every single day. Whereas a Mars in Virgo, they need to feel like they have clear tasks in their work. I have had many Mars and Virgos in my life, all of which were men, and they do definitely feel that sense that they want to know what task it is they need to execute. And long-term effort, in a sense, really bugs these people. They need to feel like they can complete their work by the end of the day. So having to do big picture thinking, big picture projects is going to be extremely frustrating for them. These people do best when they're doing service-based work that is task-oriented. And on the completely other end of the spectrum, in many ways, a Mars in Capricorn needs to feel like they have a big goal in mind. These people like having work that is success-driven and self-success driven, meaning that they can push their limits as far as they want to go, and they're going to get a clear material reward for their efforts. They need to feel like their discipline is valued and that their discipline works. These people very much dislike an ever-changing environment, and they really dislike feeling the sense that they don't have clear outcomes from their efforts. Their job requires a lot of innovation or specifically experimentation. This is going to leave a Mars in Capricorn feeling very unfulfilled in their career. Again, I have a cheat sheet I've created for each Mars sign that you can check out down below or in the card up above. If your Mars is in a water sign such as Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, you probably have the hardest time, I'm going to start with, in the modern day work environment, because the Mars in water signs, regardless of which water sign it's in, feel that they want to be emotionally driven and passionate about their actions. These are the people who do not, regardless of which sign it's in, do not do well having to have a schedule, because they have, what is the word, ever-changing energy flows, meaning that some days they're going to feel like they can work for seriously 24 hours straight, and other days they can't work at all. Their emotions drive their actions, their feelings drive their actions, and their physical energy really affects their emotional energy, which therefore affects how much effort they can put into things. And so Mars in a water sign needs to feel that they have a emotionally nurturing action, emotionally nurturing work environment. So for example, though, to break this down to specific terms, if you're a Mars in Cancer is the crab. They move non-linear. The Mars in Cancer placement needs to feel like their work environment allows them to be non-linear about their action. These people really do value and work well with being able to make their own schedule. These people also do really good in nurturing roles. Because they want to do things that nurture themselves, they also want to do work that nurtures others. So this can be the stereotypical nurturing caregiver role that allows for emotional empathy or consideration or compassion in a role. A Mars in Cancer is also going to be extremely frustrated in a career path, words, that requires a lot of consistent effort, a lot of physical intensity, or even an emotional coldness. As on the other hand, a Mars in Scorpio is actually, while they're still driven by their emotions, can do very well in project-based work that requires a lot of effort. This basically makes the desire to act on emotions unfold in a longer term spectrum. A Mars in Scorpio needs to feel like they have an emotionally invested project or emotionally invested workplace that they get to show up to consistently, or that is always there for them so that they can consistently be invested in it. In the end, a Mars in Scorpio needs to feel like their work is deep, investing, passionate, and a bit obsessive. A Mars in Scorpio needs to feel like they are obsessed and invested fully in what they do. This is the person who wants their work to, so to say, devour them in many cases. However, with that though, a Mars in Scorpio is also going to be really frustrated by small picture thinking jobs where they have to either do a task or they're working towards something that is very small, or if it's not something that they are emotionally driven to. In the end, like I said, they want to be invested in what they do. So if they feel like they can't be invested, they're going to find themselves very, very stifled. And if you're a Mars in Pisces, you like a job where you get to focus on emotional connection, harmony, and idealism. These are the people who tend to want to be in creative roles that are somewhat idealistic in what they are creating. So these people can really be driven towards more so creative foundations or creative cooperations. For example, I would say like a coffee shop where you're really refining the vision of it, or some sort of creative entrepreneurial path, being a part of a team where you're creating something that has an ideal vision. Overall, a Mars in Pisces, though, wants a job where they can prioritize their own emotional harmony and their own personal ideals, meaning that they are completing their vision. They are doing what they are idealistically in alignment with and connecting with others in harmonious ways. A Mars in Pisces is going to be extremely frustrated in any form of job that requires them to just follow protocol once again, or if they have to have physical intensity, or if they have to be settling in many ways. Just do the task, just do what you're supposed to. Don't bring your idealism or creativity into this. Y'all, I was in the editing phase of this video and realized I completely skipped over the section talking about what it means to have your Mars in an air sign. Overall, any Mars in an air sign is going to do their best work when they're doing something that is intellectually stimulating, networking, or focused on learning. There really is two sides to air energy. One is the more social side where they're gathering information via people and networking with them and communicating. And the other side is more introverted, so to say, energy where they want to just acquire knowledge and be on their own. So air energy can play out in two different ways or both ways. Regardless, a Mars in an air sign is going to focus focus on the acquiring of knowledge and do their best work when they're acquiring knowledge and using their intellect. For example, if you're a Mars in Gemini like me, you want a work path that allows you to be versatile and adaptable. You want to be constantly stimulated and using your skills of acquiring data, whether that's the data of people or data online, in application. Mars in Gemini also really does thrive a lot on hands-on learning. So they need that versatile, adaptable environment that values their highly stimulated mind, or mind that needs a lot of stimulus and can handle a lot. Multitasking is great for these people, or jobs that require a lot of dynamic movement. Also, though, if on the other hand, you're a Mars in Libra, this is a more subtle, balanced version of air energy. That ability to acquire information is much more level-headed, and oftentimes Mars and Libras do really good in careers where they're using their social skills. They know how to be fair, they know how to appear welcoming, they're extremely friendly, and they have a neutrality to them that makes everyone feel accepted. And so these people do good oftentimes in, so to say, political roles, in a sense, is the word that comes to mind, or community roles where they are connecting one-on-one with others and using their skills of intellect to connect with all in fair, neutral ways that are very diplomatic and very accepting of all and make everyone feel approved of. And on the other hand, if you are a Mars in Aquarius, these people need to feel like their work they're doing is innovative. They need to feel like they're doing something unique, that they're always doing something different and dynamic, similar to a Mars in Gemini, but more so focused on a big picture action. Mars in Gemini really does tend to need more of that day-to-day dynamism. And on the other hand, Mars in Aquarius needs to feel more of like they're working towards something innovative in the long run. So more of a long-term energy. They also need to feel like they're doing something in alignment with their individuality. So something that feels unique to them and unique to their skill set is very important. And also I would add to that is that Mars in Aquarius does, I think, tend to work best with a team when they feel like they're being seen for their individuality, seeing others for their individuality, and working with others who have unique skill sets. Whereas Mars in Libra wants one-on-one connection, Mars in Gemini just wants general stimulation and to interact with strangers. Mars in Aquarius needs that teamwork, that group, that community that they feel connected to in their work. And they're very much going to dislike if they have to be part of a system, fit a cog role, so to say, where they're not valued for their individuality. Or if they, on the other hand, have to work in complete solitude and feel unrecognized entirely. Not only is there a sign that your Mars is in that's playing a role on your career, but there's also a house. And I won't go in depth into each house, but I will put a summary over the screen of what each house really means in application to career. So whatever sign your Mars is in, that's the energy you need to embrace. That is the physical kind of action you need to take. But the house is in can tell you where you do your best work. For example, if you have it in your 7th house, you're going to do good in one-on-one interactions in a certain means. If it's in your 10th house, you really do good at being on an authority role. If it's in your 1st house, working in independently or in solitude or towards something you're invested in your identity. If it's in your 4th house, working with families, I could go on. Again, look at the summary over the screen. But your house gives you an indicator into what kind of potential field you could be working in or what kind of structure you need based off of what kind of people you need to work with, how many people, what kind of role you best serve. So how do you start applying your Mars sign to your career? Whether you're looking for a new career or deciding to stay in the one you're in, there's a few ways that you can start to probably utilize your Mars energy in your career. Simply put, it could be shifting how you execute a task. And if you are someone who works underneath a corporation or a boss where you have to get certain things done, taking your Mars into account could help you shift how exactly you complete the task, though I do know that so many people are going to have restrictions in this. But to apply it to those a little bit more in, so to say, application who are chances are looking at this to find a new career path, asking yourself, what is my sign that my Mars is in? What kind of energy is it that I need to embrace physically? And what are previous career paths I've done, jobs I've done, or even just things I do on a day-to-day basis that fulfill this energy? Writing out the ways that you fulfill this energy, the ways that feel good for your Mars, is really, really good for getting a starting point on how exactly you apply this to career. For me, I know as a Mars in Gemini, yes, speaking helps, yes, creating helps, but also music, Playing instruments has been huge for my Mars in Gemini. Painting has been huge for my Mars in Gemini. I'm a total crafter. I crochet, I make earrings, I do so much. That is fulfilling for my Mars in Gemini. And then writing down what the commonality is between all these. For me, I would say it's been hands-on creative experience. So I could write creativity or hands-on work. So write out, what is it that fulfills your Mars? What is it you do that feels rewarding to your Mars? What feels good for your physical energy levels? You'll know it's good for your Mars if you feel a sense of strong physical vitality after you do it. And it could be numerous. It could be working out. It could be connecting with other people. It could be being like a therapist to your friend. It could be something completely different. Write out what those things are that fulfill your Mars sign, and write out what the common thread is between them all. And then from there, take the house into account and say, okay, based off this house, what kind of career paths do I associate with this house? For example, if it was 7th house that your Mars is in, what are 7th house jobs, one-on-one jobs? Let's see, therapy, coaching, personal training, or if it's in your 4th house, what are jobs I would think of associated with home? Real estate, family coaching. Could be, that's just what comes to mind for me. Property management. Take the house into account, ask yourself what kind of fields are, and then ask yourself, how can I cross these over? What kind of role could I play within this field of work that the house is indicating that plays to the sign strengths of my Mars? So let me know in the comments below, do you guys want more details on this? And before you go, I have created, like I said, cheat sheets for each Mars sign. So if you want to start remembering, utilizing your Mars to your benefit in your career, if you want to start identifying what you need in career, check out the cheat sheets down below where I give you your quick and simple guide to your Mars placement. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos. Let me know what you want to hear about next on the channel. I am kind of going, in a sense, on a career binge streak just because I feel called to. If you guys have other questions about career astrology, let me know. If there's something else you want to hear about, let me know also down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sincerely hope you enjoyed. Once again, my name is Isabelle, and from my heart to yours, namaste.